His-Imperial-Majesty.
Peace, love, and light. Islam.
My question for you today is, how does the Empire or Moors in general, how should we prepare or how do we get prepared for when we have a natural disaster or an unnatural disaster come before us?
I can't speak for other houses of Moors on what they do with preparing for an emergency, a disaster, or dealing with one after it's already occurred. I can only speak for the Amexem-Moor-Empire. Our first and foremost operation is to secure the environment. We have to make sure that our Constitution is operational underway for our folks to enjoy their liberties, at the same time maintaining the free flow of our commerce. So we have one department that handles disasters, and that is the Emergency Services Agency. The sub-department therein, the Department for the Interior. ESA has managerial command over any particular disaster that occurs, man-made or otherwise. Imperial Customs Force has supervisory command under their watch. So whoever is the scene commander from ESA, they will lay out what is needed, and then ICF goes in, the Imperial Customs Force goes in to secure the area. That's their primary function, to get in there and make sure that order is restored so that our Constitution can be properly maintained in that particular area. So now the civilians can go in and do their duty, obligation, and responsibility to provide assistance. And that's when the DRC, or Disaster Relief Coordinator from ESA, can now get in there and say, this is what the assessment is. What is needed on the ground, what we already have on the ground in terms of supplies to provide folks who need comfort, who need assistance, until they can get back onto their feet. If they have to have material brought in from another command area, we need to know what we're bringing in. We need to know why it's being brought in. With the triangulate particular thing, see how fast we're going to be able to get it there. Maybe we can't take it directly into that particular area. Maybe it's a viral outbreak in the area and it's a hot zone. That means we have to get it to a rally point, and they have to get a team out from their command to meet the HIPPO units that are coming to bring in those supplies. Once we do that, we can get those supplies back in, and we can get a continuous flow of supplies to help them while they get things in order there because of whatever relief that's being done in terms of operations to clean up the area or to triage the area to make sure that if we have folks there that's wounded, that they are properly viewed and prioritize as to who needs what type of assistance for their health so that they can become whole again. This is the duty, obligation, and responsibility of ESA on the watch of my Minister for the Interior and the Minister for Customs dealing with ICF. That's the best way I can really answer your question as you presented it. I don't want to go really much further in on that particular thing, except for to say with the commerce side of it, once we know that order's been restored, the ability for commerce to flow is by default present. So if you can get certain things back to normal and give folks a sense of normalcy, including the industry, commerce, and trade, that is helpful in the healing of the folks and the repairing of that particular affected area. So I'm going to have to hold my comment to your question at that point. Do you have a follow-up question you want to ask me, Lonnie?
Yes. Considering that, as far as I know, that not all the Moors, but most of the Moors don't have any type of operations like that or any store of food, what would you say that they suggest at least start looking into or at least start doing, so therefore they might have a better dog into the fight?
Honestly, I would say to them they should engage with our family, the Great Seal. And the reason why I made that particular statement is because on the watch of the sitting Sultan of the Great Seal, they do engage in particular things that we work with right now. And I would strongly urge them to interact with the Sultan of the Great Seal and his command staff, his emirs. And perhaps they can negotiate training with our family from the Great Seal. I would highly recommend that because the Sultan for the Great Seal is most competent. And honestly, that's the best way I think I can answer that question and be of service to our kith and kindred. Because what we do internally, that is for the Amexem-Moor-Empire nationals, and I'm not going to speak to what other houses do. We work with the Great Seal works with us. So we interact with each other to have each other's back. But for the other houses, I would say go to the Great Seal and interact with the Great Seal. And with that, that's about as far as I'm prepared to go. Peace, love, and light. Islam.